All right, let's talk about something many hopeful parents wonder about. Can you actually do anything to influence whether you have a boy or a girl? It's a huge question, right? Well, today we're going to separate the facts from the fiction and really dig into the science behind conceiving a boy.
You've probably seen these claims floating around the internet. Things like drink black coffee every day for a son, or that eating dark chocolate is the secret. But is there any real science behind these popular theories? That's exactly what we're here to find out.
And seriously, it's not just chocolate and coffee. We're talking about all sorts of beliefs that have been cast down. Our job today is to look at what the source material says and figure out what's a myth and what's actually rooted in hard science. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle those myths head on. Then we'll dive right into the biology of what really decides a baby's gender. After that, we'll get into something called the Great Sperm Race. It's fascinating. And then we'll give you some actionable playbooks for both him and her. And finally, we'll wrap up with the single most important thing to keep in mind. Okay, first up, let's break down those popular beliefs. Now, even though the claims about, say, chocolate and coffee aren't scientifically proven to guarantee you'll have a boy, there are some pretty interesting observations behind them that are totally worth a look. So here's the thing. It's a little more nuanced than it sounds. The idea isn't that chocolate magically creates boy sperm. It's that dark chocolate has something in it called L-arginine. It's an amino acid that can actually boost a man's overall sperm count and how well they swim. So the logic is pretty simple. If you have more sperm and they're healthier in general, you naturally up the odds for the Y sperm. It's really more about boosting general reproductive health. All right, let's leave those myths in the rearview mirror and get straight to the hard science. How is a baby's gender actually determined? This part is the absolute biological truth, no guesswork involved. You know, it all boils down to chromosomes. It's that simple. A woman's egg cell will always, and I mean always, carry an X chromosome. No exceptions. But the man's sperm is where things get interesting. Each sperm cell carries either an X or a Y. And that one little difference? Well, it's the key to everything. So here's exactly how it works. If a sperm carrying an X chromosome is the one that fertilizes the egg, you get an XX combination, and that results in a baby girl. But if a Y-carrying sperm wins the race and reaches the egg first, you get an XY combination, which, you guessed it, results in a baby boy. It's a genetic coin toss every single time. And this right here is the single most crucial point. It's something the source material really emphasizes because it helps bust a very harmful cultural myth. Since the woman only provides an X chromosome, it is 100% the man's sperm that decides the child's gender. Understanding this scientific fact is so important for shifting unfair social pressures and blame away from women. So, now we know it all comes down to which type of sperm wins the race. So, let's meet the contestants, shall we? Because this isn't just about swimming fast, it's a strategic battle, basically pitting pure speed against raw endurance. I want you to think about it like this. The Y sperm, the ones that make a boy, they're the sprinters. They're super fast, but they're also a bit more fragile. On the other hand, the X sperm, the ones for a girl, are the marathon runners. They're slower, but they are way more durable, way more resilient, and this difference is absolutely key to the strategies we're about to get into. The biggest challenge for our little Y-sperm sprinter is the environment it's swimming into. The woman's body is naturally a little bit acidic, and that's a major hurdle for these more delicate swimmers. It can literally stop them in their tracks. So for them to have a fighting chance to win the race, the conditions have to be just right. And this is where things like diet and timing could maybe make a bit of a difference. Okay, so let's get practical. How can we actually help those little Y-sperm sprinters get to the finish line? This next section is a whole playbook for the male partner focused on boosting the health and vitality of his sperm. The source here suggests a diet that's really aimed at creating a strong, healthy sperm population. We're talking about foods rich in specific nutrients that are known to support sperm production. Things like mushrooms and beef, also high-quality proteins like lentils, and potassium-rich foods like bananas and potatoes. And beyond what you eat, certain supplements can give things an extra boost. Think of them as a support team. You've got powerful antioxidants like vitamin C and E, essential minerals like zinc, and crucial building blocks like folic acid and omega-3s. They're all working together to improve the overall quality of the sperm. And you know, lifestyle is just as important. The source really hammers home avoiding habits that can damage sperm, like smoking and heavy drinking. And here's a big one. Keep things cool down there. Sperm production is really sensitive to heat, so that means no more laptops directly on the lap, and maybe it's time to switch from tight jeans to something a little looser. Okay, now let's switch gears and look at the playbook for the female partner. The focus here isn't on making anything, but on preparing everything, creating an internal environment where those speedy Y sperm can not just survive, but actually thrive.
Remember how we said the Y sperm are sprinters, not marathoners? Well, a less acidic or more alkaline environment is like paving a smooth, clear racetrack for them. So the dietary goal for women is to help create that environment. The source suggests eating daily protein, like boiled eggs, and veggies that promote alkalinity, like cabbage and lettuce, while maybe cutting back on things thought to increase acidity, like dairy products and super spicy foods.
So we've covered a whole lot of science and strategy, but as we start to wrap things up, it's time to zoom out a bit and really focus on the most important takeaway in all of this. All right, now for the most important number in this entire explainer, 0. That's the percentage of guarantee that any of these methods will work. It is so important to understand that these tips are all about slightly shifting the odds in your favor, not about determining the outcome. This is a game of probabilities, not certainties. And this is really the heart of the matter. The source concludes with this beautiful and essential thought. At the end of the day, whether you have a boy or a girl, the ultimate hope, the ultimate prayer for any parent is to have a healthy, happy child. And that perspective, that's the most important thing to hold on to. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. Beyond all the science, beyond the strategies and the playbooks, what is the one thing that truly matters on this journey to grow your family? It's a powerful thought to consider. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer.